it's interesting to me that when God teaches us to pray, and he teaches us to pray in the Psalms, that it's music, it's poetry, it's like this deeper level of communication. So he calls us to speak to him from the deepest places of who we are through music, to speak to him, to address what's going on at the deepest levels. And he teaches us how to do that through the Psalms.
Have you ever wondered why you should be singing in church? Why do we sing at all? Like, what's the point of music and songs in church? And in this episode, we talk about that. We talk about worship, and it's how it formulates how you see God and how you see yourself. What do we do with hymns and psalms and contemporary worship music? And what's it doing for American Christianity? What's it doing for your faith and around the world? You're not going to want to miss this episode on the Worship Wars on the Disciple Standard Podcast.
The future is now.
A lot of things happening here. Glad you're watching. I want to start talking about worship with everyone. Let's start this discussion on worship. You guys ever wonder why we sing in church? I think a lot of us do. I myself do. What do you think? What would be your answer? Like, if someone is a new Christian coming to church.
I sing because I'm happy.
Okay. And
I sing
because
I'm free.
Yeah.
His eye is on the sparrow. That's the reason why I sing. I love that song.
Okay.
Okay. So could you put those into words that I could deliberately understand?
Sparrow.
If someone's brand new to church.
I think singing is a natural response to just giving praise to someone who's loved you and given so much to you. I think we sing when we're happy. We sing sometimes when we're sad. Singing, I think, is a natural human response to a lot of emotions that we feel from day to day. And we, a lot of time, take those emotions and put them into song. So how could we not create song and sing to God?
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. Scott.
Okay, I'm going to get philosophical.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. So human beings are created in the image of God. And at least part of what it means that we're created in the image of God is we have the ability to communicate with language. There is no other creature that has the ability to discuss anything, abstraction. We could have a discussion about mathematics. We can express things that are in the world. We can talk about ourselves. There's no other creature that God's created that, like, I find my dog to be really amazing.
Copper.
Like, my dog, the other day I was just thinking, like, when I come home, it runs and grabs a toy because it's so excited, and it's expressing some happiness to see me. If I'm eating food, my dog likes to, it has a particular way of begging. Like, it knows it can't outright beg, so it, has a little, look at you beg. But we don't hear our pets or animals ever articulating a thought in words. That is to human beings alone, which, by the way, to those who ever think about how this world came to be and how human beings came to be, and they have this theory of evolution, I think, honestly, there's such a qualitative difference between us and the next animal down, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. It's so different. It's not like, oh, there's just one more click. There's one more. No, we are so different. And language is one of those things. I like to think about our ability to tell a joke, to make each other laugh. There's no other animals that are hamming it up, a dolphin comedian.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's a group of dolphins circling out, laughing about a joke.
Yeah,
or something.
Stand-up comedy. No, I don't know. So anyway, we alone, because we share in the image of God, have the ability to talk. But I think there is the deepest language, which is that we have the ability to sing. So
is that a deeper language than just dialogue?
Well, I think it's part of our ability to communicate, but it's something even more profound than just the fact that we could talk to each other in words. I think songs are able to, as Saran was just saying, access our emotions. They're able to express things. Like I could say things in words, but like I could let my wife know I love her. I could let her know what I mean to her, what she means to me. But a love song, that's like something, I don't know. You know this, Aaron. Saran wasn't quite around yet, but there was a time where we started a second service here at Sunlight that had a little bit more modern music in it. And I just started learning how to play the piano so I could be part of that evolution, so to speak, of our church, where we were starting to play some more modern sounding music as compared to just hymns from the past. And we were getting a little bit of a worship band together, and I more or less became like the director of that. I really didn't know how to play the piano very well. And what I realized is, okay, so I would play the piano and then I would preach, and I would feel such a relief when I was done with the music portion of the service and I could just get back to something easy like speaking. Because I feel like when you, and I'm sure Saran does know this as we think about like all the musicians that are in a praise band, when you are expressing yourself in music, whether it's through an instrument or whether it's especially through voice, you are making yourself vulnerable in a way that like you're just not with speaking.
Yeah.
Like there is something about your soul that is just like set out there.
Yeah.
So I think it is like a deeper part of us, a deeper way of communicating. So, the book of Job talks about when on the day God created, all the angels sang for joy. So obviously angels have this same capacity that we do of communication. And I think there's something about like singing to praise God, like words themselves cannot express the depths of things that are just human, much less the things that are of God. So music becomes the way that, man, if I'm in pain, if I'm hurting, if I'm joyful, if I'm sad, if I'm lonely, if I'm whatever, my pickup truck won't start.
Yeah. Country.
Yeah. Like we express those deeper things and they're more profound in song.
Yeah, I like how you said that there's a deeper level of communication. Like I'm just thinking about if I zoom out, okay, what's the first level of communication? Like sign language or like, I don't know, like grunts or something, like animals would kind of point or whatever. I don't know. And then it goes into words and dialogue and reasoning and then songs. And then I just think about, okay, theologically, how does that reflect in Scripture? And God created, Genesis 1 is written as a song. So like I borrow from the imagery that C.S. Lewis in Magician's Nephew. Have you read the book? He has Aslan singing a song and it creates all the galaxies. And I'm like, oh, that's a reflection of Genesis 1. Adam then, when he sees Eve, sings. And that's a song. Mary, when Jesus is born, sings a song. And then in Revelation, we're all singing songs. It's all like, you could see it in Revelation 4 where it's all phrased out. It's all a song, and not to mention Psalms. So like theologically, some of the most profound moments in Scripture, creation, recreation, birth of Jesus, worship of Jesus, all end of everything, it's all like expressed in songs and not just words.
Now, this is just another thought, which is nothing animates people like music does.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I think, man.
And moves people. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it moves people, it animates them. I think just even in church life, you see, you want to start a controversy, get something moving, it's probably going to happen in the music department.
Yeah. Well, that's actually the other thing, right? It's like, that's why we have...
Look at Sarah. Sarah's like, oh.
Yeah, that's a lot of the controversy in church. So like, we know all about like worship wars, right? And now when you say that, hey, it's deeper parts of you, it's like, oh, that's more sensitive, right? Like you can be more offended easily because you're bearing your soul, or you got some deeper part of us spiritually that is that's being attacked and you have to defend. And That's why we have these worship wars, or it's like it's nostalgia, but it's deeper than nostalgia. It's like it's personhood. It's
The Bible defends itself, right? But music
So I'll say something
is
else.
so opinionated.
Let me say something else,
It needs
too.
to be defended by others. Yo.
So as a pastor who preaches sermons, you'd like to think to yourself that, you know, the part of the service that's really impactful or whatever is the sermon, which I think, you know, it is impactful because God's word, I mean, this again is it's the deepest part of what it means to be a human being, is the communication of God to us. So I'm not, but this is what I'd say. If I preach a sermon and let's say it was a great sermon, then the following day I could talk to people and, oh, this is so cool. I didn't even realize this was happening. Last night I was here for another meeting, and Scott Nuremberg has a group that gathers, and there's a group that just comes, and they talk about the sermon on Sunday. So I think like the following day, you could have a discussion about, oh, what was God saying to us and what was that sermon? But like a week from now, how much of the sermon will you remember? And then a month from now, what will you remember about
I don't
the
even
sermon?
know my own sermons.
So like a month from now, probably most of the sermon will be lost, even to the person who preached it, much less the person who heard it. Which doesn't mean it wasn't important, but it just means like that isn't the part that really sticks with people. It does, but it doesn't. You want to know what sticks with people?
Songs.
The music. I would be willing to say that in any church, people's theology, which means their view of God, their view of themselves, how they interact with God, is far more shaped by the music in the church than by the preaching in the church in the long run. So, yeah, Saran, you just started singing, I sing because I'm happy, I sing because I'm free, his eye is on the sparrow. Man, if I pulled out a random Bible verse and started quoting it, there'd probably be very few people who could just quote it right along with me. Pull out a random song, you just start, you know, come thou fount of... Everyone knows the next words. Everyone knows the next words.
Yeah.
And that's because it's clear that music is touching something deeper in us. It's sticking with us. I heard like about people with Alzheimer's or dementia, like everything else is lost. They're staring at their spouse and can't figure out their name, but you start singing a song
Bang.
that they've been from their
locked in.
childhood, they know all the lyrics.
Oh, they put a piano in front of them. I've seen it where
Yeah.
he had like full-blown dementia, couldn't remember anyone. They put a piano in front of him. He's like,
And it starts
the piano.
playing.
Because music seems to go to a deeper place in our heart, in our soul, in our mind.
Yeah, you mentioned something interesting. You've said it to me before, but I think it begs to be kind of teased out. Is that the theology of the church, and the view of self and whatever is shaped vastly by the music, rather in comparison to the sermon. Can you expand on that? Because I look at like around culture, and maybe there's this trend amongst Christians about like having shallow theology or shallow experience at church, or I don't know. Can you expand
Do you
on that?
remember when you were a youth director, you brought this to my attention, which was, you're like, all right, look, these kids are being influenced by things that like I can't even stand up against, like the music that they're listening to. They don't even realize what they're listening to. They're taking this in, but bam, it's becoming like, it's making the idols of their heart.
Yes,
And so
yes.
I remember that you were like, oh my goodness, I gotta like basically go to war against this music.
That's what waged war. Waged war for a time. Yeah, that's right.
So that all makes sense to me. You know what music people are listening to? It's going to just like greatly... Music is a tool that has the ability to whittle itself all the way down into like the depths of our being.
Yeah. How do we combat?
It can shape your personality.
Absolutely.
I think for most people it does.
Well, it definitely shapes your attitude when you're like at the gym. You want to play something more aggressive. When you're calming down, and you're working, you want to play something more chill and lo-fi. You know what I mean? Like it obviously
When I was
alters.
in high school and I thought I was the one. Can't Tell Me Nothing by Kanye. I listened to that thing every morning.
It sets your mind somewhere.
Every morning.
Every morning. And
Why?
also,
Why?
Because you can't tell me nothing.
He wanted that
You
mentality.
can't. I will never tell you. Seriously. And another one I listened to when it first came out was Champion by Kanye as well.
Oh.
If you realize that you are a champion. I'm getting ready. Yeah.
I'm a champion. in their
I'm a
eyes.
champion. Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So I packed it up and brought it back to the crib. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's how children grow up. They want that, like there's a mentality out there or a vision of self or something that they want to grasp onto,
And I still had
and
Christian music in
it
my
could
life,
be
which is
healthy
fun.
and not healthy. You know.
So check this out. Parents are like trying as hard they can to talk to their kids about their identity and like try to form our identity. And one song comes along, and you're like, this is my
I'm
identity.
going to tell you this right now. I was listening to Can't Tell You Nothing one morning. My dad usually leaves beforehand. He usually leaves before me because he would leave like 6 a.m. This was high school. He heard it one time. He took my stuff away. He's like, is this what you're listening to? This is what you're using your phone for? He took it.
Good dad.
Like, no way.
Yeah, good dad.
Took my phone.
Yep. Yeah, and so if what
You're like, no way.
Literally.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm
something.
working so hard to form Sarah's
Literally.
identity.
I'm gonna tell you something, Saran.
Literally. And he took it. And he waited till the end. I was done with the song.
He said,
Wrapped
yeah.
it from beginning to end, took my phone.
I've told you something now, and you'll
Yep.
take this,
Yep.
and you think you're a champion.
Is this what you're using your phone for? Is this what you got memorized? Took my phone.
Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about the theology being shaped.
That's a good point. Memorized.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to like memorize things if you sit down and try to memorize things? Music is a tool. Bam.
So you brought that to my attention very first with the Psalms. I can still. So they ask this question sometimes like, oh, if someone had a this, that to you, and you needed to recite a song right now from beginning to end with no mistakes, what song would you do and could you do it? I have not listened to Can't Tell Me Nothing in its entirety for so long. I can 100% do that song from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From
because
beginning to end, zero mistakes, every pause on point.
there is a power in music that to shape our mind. Like, imagine, you know, if you had this paragraph and you're like, memorize this paragraph, what effort it would take most people to try to memorize this paragraph
Gargantuan.
word for word.
Yeah.
But you can literally have song lyrics that are so long, a 7-10 minute song, and without even trying, next thing you know, you have the entire thing memorized.
There's a Taylor Swift song that's 10 minutes long, All Too Well, and there are girls that could recite that whole, and it's like a story. It's not like
There are
standard
girls. There are millions of girls.
Yeah, men too. Like they just
Even-
recite
even
the
where
whole
you-
song.
Even where you are in your place in life when
Yeah.
you had a song. So the Great Thy Faithfulness, hymn, everyone knows it. I don't know any verses in that hymn except for one particular verse.
Okay.
And I think it's verse 3, and it's because it's the first time I ever sung a solo by myself. And that was my part.
What's
and
verse 3?
It's
Is that
summer and winter and springtime and harvest, sun, moon, and stars in their courses
Courses
above, join with all nature in manifold witness.
What's manifold
to
witness
thy
mean?
I don't know, but I know man is like his great witness to thy great faith,
Not
mercy
man, his
and
great
love.
witness. Manifold.
Manifold witness. Manifold witness.
Manifold.
Yeah, I thought you said menfold his
No,
witness.
manifold, like his great witness.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was about to say. You've been
What?
saying it wrong
Manifold?
all these years.
No.
Okay, so for me,
And it's funny because when I sing it, when I sing that, I can see myself holding the paper when I first had it and like reading them. Like as I'm singing it, it's
wow.
not just the words. Like visually, in my brain, I'm looking at the paper in my childlike hand as I'm remembering these words.
Okay, so this is the power of music.
Yep.
This is the power of music.
Yeah.
well, for when I was growing up, I still remember when my Lola was singing "Amazing Grace" to me. And the first thing I could think of doing when I had Tegan, like all to myself, I was just like singing "Amazing Grace." There was no one prompted. It was not like deliberate, like I'm going to sing. It was just like kind of spilled out. And then just recently, we had a congregation member go to the hospital, and Jerry, Scott, and myself, we were there on the hospital like waiting room like floor, and everyone decided to have like this prayer circle. And I just remember praying the Psalms, and Jerry started praying the Psalms, and Scott started praying. I was like, this thing just kind of spilled out. Like I like we have it locked up in here because we were, listening to the songs and we listened to music. But then it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how I felt, where I was on the floor, how I was thinking, all of that, because it's related to that moment and it's linked by that song. I don't know. Music is I don't know. There's a lot of power in music. Let's talk about.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say it's the same thing with Psalms 3, right? So we had the Multiply Conference, and it's one of the psalms I clung to and memorized the most, and I don't know why, but it's just one that I just seen my heart just really took to was Psalms 3, and then I find myself. I told Scott this. Where we had a service for my aunt, and I was calling on that psalm, and that's the one that I use forever. Like I'm naturally just calling on that one and drawn to that one right now, and it's so interesting. The other psalms, like through that we've been putting to music for pros, they're a little bit harder for me to catch, except for like the Lord Reigns. That's pretty easy. But Psalms 3, it has really spoken to me in a way, especially musically.
Yeah, me too.
That my heart, my mind has attached.
Lord, how many
itself
are
to
my
it.
foes?
Yeah, how many rise up against?
Rise up against me.
Many are saying, yo, it's the
they will
can't
not
tell me
deliver
nothing,
him.
bro. This can't tell me nothing. Many
the
are saying
Jesus
of me,
version of Ken.
the Lord will not deliver him, but you, God, are a shield around me.
My glory?
The one who lifts my head high.
Easy.
Call unto the Lord, and He answers me.
Oh,
from
wow.
His holy mouth. Yo,
Music.
Yeah, that is crazy.
All right, now. All right, let's take a turn.
Strike my enemies on the jaw.
What if God knows this about us?
What if that?
Now, I'm glad you reacted like this. Obviously, God knows this about us.
Right.
So do you know what He did? He put a soundtrack right in the middle of the Bible.
Yeah.
Here is a soundtrack of faith.
And that's what we've been
right
talking
there
about, right? Yeah.
in the middle of the Bible, because He knows this is the thing that is really, He knows about us, all the stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So God, all right, this is also amazing to me. We think that one of the best ways to convey truth is just propositional. Let me tell you this truth. And we put out, but you know what God does? He knows, man, you wanna keep truth with people? Tell them a story. Like story just strikes us so much. So much of the Bible is in a story format as a way of conveying the deep truths of God. Why didn't He just give us like 2-3 pages of some propositions to memorize? No, He gave us this huge story to digest and take in and chew on. And anyway, but then He knows the deepest part of us. And the main way to communicate to us is through music. So He's got this book in the Bible that is the music. And anyway, the way that it's interesting to me that when God teaches us to pray, and He teaches us to pray in the Psalms, that it's music, it's poetry, it's like this deeper level of communication. So He calls us to speak to Him from the deepest places of who we are through music, to speak to Him, to address what's going on at the deepest levels. And He teaches us how to do that through the Psalms.
Yeah. Saran, you had a big reaction there. I think you had
I just realized that Psalms 3 is literally can't tell me nothing. And it's like, it's crazy. I'm like, yo, it's really like, God's got me. You can't tell me nothing. There's nothing you can say, nothing you can do. Like, God has got me. He is a shield around
Lord
me.
are a shield around me.
My glory, the one who lifts my head high. Like, that is you cannot tell me nothing.
Yeah.
Right? I lie down and sleep. I rise again because the Lord sustains me. It's crazy. I will not fear though tens of thousands assail me on every side.
Arise, Lord. Deliver me, my God.
This
is my favorite line. Strike all my enemies on the jaw. Break the teeth of the wicked.
That is
that's
okay.
That's a cold line.
Yo. How did you
cold
guys memorize this psalm? How'd it happen? How did you memorize it?
I put it in the song.
I listened to it, and
Music.
something about it. That one was just like, that's you. Bloop. In the heart, in the mind.
So bloop. So let's talk about music, okay? We've got the Psalms we've been making the contention that the Psalms has been lost, right? No one sings the Psalms anymore. I don't know, and you've said before in other podcasts that a long time ago, Christians had the whole Psalter memorized.
Correct.
Every Psalm.
So we have a student in 222 Leadership Seminary. She's in Canada. Her parents and grandparents knew all 150 Psalms word for word.
Her grandparents?
Yeah. Like she remembers like people in her church and her own family knowing all 150 Psalms word for word because they sang them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay. So, I mean, what's crazy about that is, yeah, we could talk about how things were in like the first 1,000 years of Christianity. That sounds really distant. But it's not that long ago that people had it. And now it's just surprising that today people don't. And I don't know, maybe this is like overstatement. Maybe I should be careful. Like, if I was scheming to ruin people's faith, I would take away the Psalms.
And replace them with?
Can't tell me nothing.
You got little surrounded with this little snapback?
No, I mean, yeah, I would just take away the Psalms. These are, these prayers have power.
What do you think the removal of Psalms in the lives of Christians, what has that done to the faith?
Just, first of all, it probably changes their view of God because the Psalms really, if you start singing them and studying them, praying through them, I think you'll get a very comprehensive and deep view of God. And I think a very robust theological outlook. If you remove the Psalms and replace them with something else, I think your theology might become very thin.
What if I said it this way, another way? What if I said like this? Do you think that the view of God now as like this grandfather or therapist or whatever, the shallow view of God is not because of shallow preaching and prosperity gospel preaching or whatever, it's actually because of shallow worship music in the church?
It might be. I think it all goes together, and I don't think there's anyone who would dispute what you just said, that at least North American Christianity has moved toward shallow.
Would you say
we don't really listen to the scriptures anymore, and we don't know the Bible? We have a very thin understanding of who God is. The preaching has become, as you say, some kind of like me-centric therapist, health and wealth,
moralistic therapeutic.
Just basic moralism. Hey, be good.
Yeah.
And we don't even know the main message of the Bible anymore in so many church settings. And so, I would be willing to go along with your contention that one of the real issues is that we've taken away the music of the Bible.
And thus, if you want a more robust, deep-founded, comprehensive faith and conviction, there is no question you must memorize the Psalms because of all the things we stated. It's the way we feel the deepest or move the deepest. Is that the conclusion that can be kind of drawn out from this whole conclusion or from this whole argument or observation?
I definitely think that's an issue.
I guess my question is, where do the Psalms land on other Christians' radar? Because let's say with right now, right, we've been heavily leaning into the Psalms for probably the last year and a half, right? Maybe 2 years. But before that, even if I'm thinking about previous life, we more focus on the overarching stories of the Bible. We're not really, and that's I would say that's really church-wide. We're not really focusing on Psalms. We've done Summer in the Psalms before.
We have done a summer Psalm series every year since I've been campus pastor, and we've done it every year since I was in Redeem. Yeah. So there was always a Psalms focus.
Before that, I would say before Redeem and even here, I would say that the focus was more on bigger overarching stories.
Agreed. But we've never let me drop back.
And I would say most churches are also that way, at least the ones that I have.
Let me drop back. So when we're talking about Psalms, most people only think to focus on Psalms at the preaching level. But what Scott is contending, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, is that it needs to move into the worship, because that's at least half the service, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, we are not even on the preaching level. I don't think people are really using Psalms as they may talk about, because like if
it's
you're
one of 66 books,
if you're
right?
really trying to like draw in new Christians, right, or other people, they're using like these bigger overarching Daniel lines, then Samson, Noah, Jonah. They're using these bigger overarching stories, and then breaking those stories across
communicate at one level, and then the musical Psalms communicate at another level.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is that the Psalms have been lost, because even in our evangelistic approach, how we're saying how our day-to-day Sunday approach, we're not really even using them on a sermon level that I even see.
Well, we also have we open every worship service with a psalm. There's at least that. There's no
we do. I'm spending this a past Sunlight. I'm sending this.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a million different churches can celebrate a different way. I mean, like I have no idea, right? So but here at Sunlight, and what we're trying to contend for is like, hey, we know this is fact. We know that really no one sings the Psalms anymore. Thus, no one has them memorized.
And I think now, I mean, I've sort of developed a very distinct philosophy with regard to this that I feel very committed to, which is, I think there are songs today, modern songs, hymns, that are quote unquote inspired by the Psalms or portions of the Psalms. So like, there's this little praise song that was popular, I don't know how many years ago. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. That's a verse from Psalm 51. So we know that it's inspired by a verse from Psalm 51. But my contention is, I think we need to sing the whole psalm.
Yeah. What's the difference?
In its entirety.
What's the difference? What does it? How big of a difference does it make? Does it matter that much?
Yeah, because I think I don't know. Who knows us better than God? And God said, "Here, these are the songs, the prayers I want you to pray and sing from the depths of your heart. Don't
leave anything out."
So we're like, oh, that's great. But let's not do this whole thing. Let's just, this one verse is what I think we ought to just concentrate on. I just don't like that.
I want the deer part. Yeah.
Yeah. As the deer pants for the water.
Yeah.
But I don't want to know the whole psalm. I just want to know. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I think God gave us these songs, and he knows who we are. And now I just hear you guys like reciting Psalm 3.
Yeah.
Like, who would write a psalm with just one verse, strike all my enemies on the jaw, break the teeth of the wicked, and just like, da, 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 I don't know, whatever it is.
That's the coldest line in the Bible, I swear. Look, that is the coldest line.
It's awesome. If you think about it, we're calling on God to make things right. Mm-hmm. We're calling on God to bring about justice and, whatever enemies we have, he's the one who's going to deliver us, not that we go out and fight ourselves. And so I think every line is important because, I don't know, when people are doing things against us and we sense that they're our enemies, so to speak, we have this internal rage and we're like, I want to do it. And you're like, no, God, deliver me.
Yeah. And there's also in that Psalm 3 as an example, I could go line by line and pick out like the complexity and the different attributes of God and who I am in that. So like in a modern contemporary song, I think is very like singular focus. Like there's one overarching theme. However, in like Psalm 3, there's like, you're not only going to break the teeth of the wicked, also like you're my shield around me, my glory. Like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So like there are it's multi-dimensional. There's so many complex dimensions to just a psalm, whereas in like a regular worship service, you're like, go back to the chorus and you hit the bridge.
I'm glad you said that. I think what tends to happen with kind of our modern worship songs is a simplification. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, God knows how complex we are, like our emotions are very complex and our
even contradictory. I have to hold things in contradiction within myself. And so he kind of answers those things.
And so these psalms, I think, get at who we are. So again, my contention is like, what if God knows us better than we know ourselves?
Right. I think when we have this documentary out. I think it's awesome. This 45 days, and it's us trying to plant and start a pros worship service, new campus in Fort Pierce. And I just hear some of the contention, even when we have the worship service going on Sunday morning right now. You say, hey, don't just listen to the music. Like, we're trying to sing these psalms, and we're trying our best to learn them. It's new, it's different cadence. It's not the way contemporary worship is written. It's an ancient like structure. Don't just listen to it. Sing it, repeat it, rehearse it. The point is to memorize and get it deep down in ourselves, within our bellies. Why can't we just sit and listen passively? Why is it so important to actively engage it?
I think the goal of corporate worship as we gather to sing these psalms, first of all, there's something about community where we are coming together in community to express our faith together. There's something about that. But I think it's like works the other direction too, which is everyone is going to go through struggles, heartache, and pain. I believe that if in those moments we really know how to pray, I don't mean in a shallow or thin way, but we really know how to pray, then in those moments, if you put the words on your lips, just like what Saran said, they're going to come back up. Anyway, I don't know. I just started something the other day. I was thinking about this because, again, it has occurred to me that in church history, people knew all these psalms. They knew them word for word, all 150 of them. There was a church council, the Council of Braga. You could not even become ordained in any office of the church until you demonstrated you knew all 150 psalms. And I just have to admit that, in the modern church, I didn't get outfitted for that. So here I am, an ordained pastor. And how many psalms do I really have memorized? So actually, on my phone here, I made a Google Keep list. And I just wrote, I have a checkbox, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 150.
Wow.
And
did you get to 150?
No, my goal is, as soon as I realize I have it memorized, I'm going to check it off.
How many do you have?
I don't know, because I just made the Google Keep and I haven't gone through my mind yet. But I know this. I know a lot more now than I did when I first started this little exercise, and especially putting it to music. I listen to the Psalms in music every single day now. And now what I want to do is I want to go through and, I think definitely, I know I have Psalm 1, I know I have Psalm 2, I know I have Psalm 3, I'm pretty sure I have all of Psalm 4. And I think if this was so cool. In our public reading of Scripture worship service this Sunday, we heard Peter's speech. And one of the things that struck me in the first 4 chapters of Acts, that's what we were listening to in our pros worship service, is how often the Psalms got quoted. It struck me. I was like, wow, they were quoting the Psalms left and right. Anyway, it was cool because in the middle of Peter's sermon, he quotes from Psalm 16. And when I heard it, I heard the music of it in my mind at the same time. Huh. I was like, did not abandon me to the realm of the dead. Oh. And I was like, wow, I think the reason that they were able to pull these psalms up is they had them in their mind through the songs. Yeah. They had a song to it, and it just came to their mind.
Yeah, I think...
And I was like, this is the first time I was just listening to Scripture, and I was listening, and I heard the song, not just the words of the song.
And that's normal, right? If someone's talking and they're listening to a song, it's readily available. Like it's a bullet in the chamber right now.
Sometimes you're talking and someone says something, and they say, you ever say, like, I say one word, and you sing a song that matches it? Mm-hmm. So you've played that game before?
I mean, yeah, I played the game, or I'm just in conversation. It's just regular
like one
conversation.
word. Yeah, so that's very normal. Like someone says something, and your brain will reference a song just by a couple words.
It really struck me. If you read the first 4 chapters of the book of Acts, you'll be like, wow. They were just quoting Psalms left and right. Yeah. And it's probably because they had the music of it.
Yeah, and I could see someone like a kid in school, like the teacher tells them to do something, and Saran's like, "You can't tell me nothing," like it's just it's readily in the chamber. But then what happens when something happens, like a a foe, for lack of a better term. You know, something bad happens to you, someone did something bad for you, and like, Lord, how many are my foes? You know, like it's a bullet in the chest. It's like, it's right there. It's ready for you. Like, you have now Psalms readily available as, you know, weapons against, I don't know, the evil schemes against us or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the best part about it. My kids probably have memorized about 10 Psalms because of the songs, because it's set to music, and we play it in the car, and we pray it now. And so I'm trying to get them in the habit of doing that. But that leads me to a question. What do we do with modern contemporary music? And hymns, and I'm gonna say it inside the church. I mean, like, we could always listen to it, you know, outside the church or whatever. Like, where does this happen? I know for us, we still sing contemporary music. We're not saying trash these things. That's not at all. We're leaning into it, actually. But we're also setting up something new, which is the Pros Worship Service, which exclusively sings whole Psalms. But what do we do with these ones? If I'm a pastor out there, or even if I'm just a regular person going to church and I hear the worship, you know, contemporary worship music, obviously my thought would be to incorporate Psalms into my regular diet of music outside of church. But if you're a church leader or a worship director, as Saran is, where do we land with contemporary music and hymns? What should we do with that?
Bet them. Check them. Make sure they're theologically strong, rich, as some people say, and accurate. And if they align with that.
But it could never be as rich and theologically strong as a psalm, right?
True. But the problem, and here's the word problem that I'm using, with the Psalms, right? When we go to set them directly to music, quoted directly from the Bible, sometimes the cadence and stuff is off, and it's hard for us to memorize and learn them, which is what we're struggling through and figuring out right now. So not every Psalm is a Psalm 3. Not every Psalm lends itself well to a good lyrical and musical scheme for our modern day worship.
I don't agree.
Oh, yeah, I know you don't.
I do not agree.
I know you don't.
I would say this, as we're writing music for the Psalms, some of our music is better and some is worse. And I do think, what I do agree with you about is, because we have this philosophy of doing the entire Psalm, there is a struggle in figuring out how to, it doesn't adapt to what contemporary music styles, it doesn't easily adapt to contemporary music styles. Mm-hmm. However, I have a conviction that all of them can be a Psalm 3 in the end, where we find the musical style and also, like, to some extent, one of our filters is how singable it is as a community. And I would say, like, if you listen to just modern music today, I don't know, pick any song. Let's just pick Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk, okay? The first time you hear that, you're going to struggle to figure out how do these words work and what's the cadence like. But pretty soon, I see entire concerts filled with tens of thousands of people, all of whom have figured out the cadence and they know how it goes. And I think it's the same thing. The first time you sing a song, you're like, oh, how's that rhythm go? And then over the course of time, once you know it, it's no longer a struggle.
I can't even remember the words to Uptown Funk You Up. I just remember the groove, which is so hot. What is the words beside Uptown Funk You Up?
Who knows? I don't know. I just picked that out of randomly.
What do you have a reaction to that?
But, okay, like,
well, my reaction
stop,
to that would
collaborate and listen. Ice is back. How tough is it? And there are people who do that.
That's
word
Ethan
for word.
Cohen.
I'm telling you,
that thing word for word.
That is so difficult, and yet people get it down.
That's fair, because like people know, Eminem, Rap God, boom, and they'll just recite the whole stream of lyrics, and it changes. Right. It changes.
That's why
he's crazy with it.
The cadence. You say, "Oh, that cadence isn't easy." That is what actually draws people to the song.
That's a good argument. I don't. Do you have anything?
Yeah, that's that. What I would say is different because those are mainstream artists and they're showing off like a ability that they have in
Yeah, but
stringing
other
those
people do it
complicated.
then.
Yeah, but with the psalm situation, it's just I would say it's a little different. I would
Why?
say, huh?
Why? Like, I'm trying to understand like the other side of it. Like, why is that different?
They're not normal words that we go around and sing. So like if you take
But
look
rap
at me
music
now, right?
is filled with
I gotta
normal
get it. I gotta get
words.
it. Like when Busta Rhymes is doing that like real complicated thing. Like people was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of high. I would love to memorize and learn that. And with the psalm situation, when sometimes you hear how it's being put together, it's not that it's like, oh, I want to learn that. It's like, yo, that sounds kind of weird, and it kind of it kind of hurts me. Sometimes the cadence, how the song comes together in like some of the songs, I'm like, oh. It's not like a good But I do agree.
I don't hear an argument. I hear
agree.
sounds. I'm trying to understand like what you're saying is
Well, everyone listens to music on a different level. And everyone has a different
okay.
interpretation
Sure.
of music. Everyone
Yeah.
has different genre of music that they like. And
yeah.
everyone agrees that some things are good and some things are bad on different levels.
Here's what I do think.
But-
I think if you take like modern worship music, they make it so simple, like a Chris Tomlin song, a Bethel song.
Yeah.
These songs have 4 chords, and they have like ironed out. They put it in a key that everyone can sing.
Which is
they have it
why-
ironed out. They make it so simple to sing, but that doesn't mean it's good music.
Which is why I've realized why I don't think I like them as much anymore. I've leaned more towards a Charity Gale. And then after we had a MLK, we had the Caribbean American community group? Culture
Yeah,
group
the MLK
come and did
service,
thing,
yes, right.
and they did Total Praise. A little bit more intricate song, a little more, and I was like, this song, I was a big part of my childhood. I'm like, this song is so powerful, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not an easy song to play. It's a little complicated, and in other man, do I just want to say it? Black churches, that is a type of music that we do, and I find myself thinking that a lot of times be careful. A lot of times, the more mainstream CCM music is easy. Oh my gosh, Saran, be careful.
Dumbed down. Dumbed
Down because of, be careful, the ability of the bands that play them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I
they
buy that.
have to be simpler. Where in the gospel community, they don't care. It's more intricate.
Oh,
The songs
yeah.
are more theological. They don't care.
you're literally making the case though now. You're saying like it doesn't matter the difficulty level of instruments or the difficulty level of keeping up with the cadence.
Well,
it
I'm
was so
saying we can't-
powerful and it was
we can apply that to psalm songs, but they don't lend themselves well to CCM style. They do not.
that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like worship in church.
Yeah, so that I agree with. And
Yeah, we're talking about style
To
and the
just
cadence,
say
and
we
that's what we're
have
talking
to
about.
have an exact
That's what we're.
CCM style, like it's got to be like a Chris Tomlin song.
Yeah.
Not all the psalms are going to lend themselves to that.
No.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, if we know that it's within people's ability to take in the most difficult, complex cadence, rhythm, music.
Maybe. So like we just did New Name Written Down in Glory, right? By Charity Gale. And I've really been pounding that song around for probably 2-3 months. And I really want to do it. And I would say it has a more complicated cadence in there on
It
the
does.
bridge. And I really did it as not just a test for the band, but a test of the congregation. Is this something that we can do as a congregation? And I think they handled it very well. And it's the bridges, I am who I am because the I am tells me who I am. And I'm like, who's going to argue with that?
Well-
But the way that it's structured and how we're saying that, I'm like, yo, you got to.
Yeah, and so it takes a bit until you can get that
Yeah.
on your lips, and then once you've got it, you've got it.
So around the second go around this time, I think the
You're making
congregation-
the case though. You're making
I'm not arguing against
you're
songs.
saying like no, you're saying that there is no difficulty level of
No,
which
what I'm saying is as we have them right now, we need to spend more time with the Psalms, niching them down and finding their sound. I don't think we have their sound. For Psalms 3, I think we have the sound of that one down. We keep referencing this one. But for a lot of the other ones, like Psalm 1 that I just sung on Sunday, I don't think that's the sound for it.
Okay, that's fair.
I think we can find it. I don't think that's it.
So yeah, so you share in Scott's conviction that he basically said every psalm can be a Psalms 3, but the conviction is every psalm has the possibility to be sung and loved.
Yes.
Okay.
But we have to. I guess our job, or I guess my job as the worship director, should be to find that sound.
Yeah, sure.
To find it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel like we're really pressing upon what would be a deeper cultural level. And
I think niching them down into a certain style, let's say CCM, a simpler style, would be doing them a disservice, because I do not think they lend themselves well to this 4-chord simple progression. I think they need to be a little bit more intricate.
Yeah, for sure. It's totally different. The lyrics are totally different, but it's not in verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus. It's like it's a totally different structure.
And I also was telling Scott this: we need to name them. I think
So we started doing that.
Yeah. He started doing that. I think that when you're trying to call on a psalm, I think be helpful is like, even with people who redo psalms, like let's say we do Psalms 23, right? It's Psalms 23. I am not alone is how it's labeled. I think they need an overarching title.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, no complaints about that.
No such thing. So Psalm 3 needs a title. How many are my? Can't tell me nothing. I named it.
So let's wrap up this conversation here. Where we're going with the Psalms, at least with worship in general, is the Pros Worship Service. This is starting February 1st. As of this time in recording, it's about 11 days away.
Equipment's here.
We've got unboxing, unpacking. Do you guys have any last minute thoughts on the direction of Pros Worship?
Well, we're going to have the opportunity this weekend and the next weekend to go out and start inviting people in Fort Pierce to come. And I hope we get a great turnout even from the first week, and then just grow from there.
Yeah.
Food, folks, and fun.
Food, folks, and fun, everybody. Be sure to join. Check out the links in the description where you'll see the links for the documentary and the website and all that stuff that we're spinning up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this episode of the Disciple Standard Podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
Future